먼저 첫 번째 발표를 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 오후 첫 번째 발표는 15세기 동아시아 산소와의 고전 의식이라고 하는 제목으로 도쿄대학교에 계시는 이타쿠라 아사키 선생님께서 해주시겠습니다. 부탁드리겠습니다.
今日のお話なのですけれども、まず日本における東アジア絵画史の視点ということで、一部、日本で行われている東アジア絵画史研究の、今に至るまでの状況というものをご紹介させていただき、そして、ある一人の人物の視点を取り上げて、当時の同時代のその東アジアの概念について議論をし、その上で、そこに見出される文献を再度一つの作品の発見によって再解釈するという、そういう手順でお話をしていきたいと思います。でまず日本における東アジア絵画史の視点ということなのですが、日本の近代において美術史が早々に始まったことは皆さんよくご存知かと思います。岡倉天心らによって創刊された国家、また非常に、精細な図版を要した美術全集の出版としては新美書院の、出版が大変よく知られています。そしてそれらの国家にせよ新美術大館、東洋美術大館にせよ、この2つはともに日本美術だけではなくて中国美術を対象としていました。すなわち日本美術史学というものが始まった段階から日本にある中国絵画を含めて紹介するということが行われていたわけです。そういった意識というものは実はすでに近代以前の段階から準備されていました。例えば松平定信という政治家が江戸時代の後半には登場するのですけれども、この人は今で言うならば国宝重要文化財全集のようなものを作っていて、それがこれがリストなんですけれども、集古十種というものがあります。この、リストを見ていると、つまり非常に重要なものは南宋時代のものであるという意識がすでに江戸時代から芽生え、そして重要なものというものは何なのかということもある一定の段階レベルで選択がされていた。それが近代にそのまま連続していって美術史学というものが出てきたんだというふうに考えることができます。その後日本画大成、さらに戦後に入ってからは第二次大戦後に入ってからは、現職日本の美術日本絵画館というふうに美術全集というフォーマットが続いていくわけですけれども、その中に常に中国絵画そこには韓国絵画も含まれているんですけれども、そういった感が常に含まれて、そして、展開していきました。一番最新のものとしてはこの小学館の日本美術全集というのがありますけれども、こちらの方でもこの巻が出ている、私自身が参加してこの巻を編集させていただいたんですけれども、ある意味で日本美術全集の中に違う国の美術を扱う巻一巻そのまま存在するという認識というのはある意味で、特殊なように思いますけれども、それは別の見方をすれば非常に近代の初めからずっと意識されて、考えられている。つまり日本美術史においてある意味で内在化したシステムとして機能していたというふうに考えることができます。ただ一方で、それが新たな東アジア絵画史をもう一度作り直すときに一つの困難をもたらしていることも確かなんです。常識の中にすでに入っているためにそのところからもう一歩新しい段階へ進むことがやや困難な状況にあるということも理解することができます。しかし近年では今回一緒にいらした塚本麻呂光先生ですとか増木隆介先生ですとか伊藤大輔先生といった方々によって新たな東アジア絵画史の模索というものがなされている、それが今の現状です。で今日お話ししたいというのは 東アジア絵画史は非常にマクロな視点なわけですけれども、その中で、ミクロな視点を取ってみるとどういうことになるのかということをちょっと見てみたいと思います。すでにこれからお話しする時代の基本的な部分、また非常に重要な指摘に関してはチャン・チンソン先生がすでに今お話になられたので、その部分に関してはその議論を引き継ぐようにしてやっていきたいと思っています。ここでまず取り上げられるのは雪舟という画家です。雪舟という画家が足掛け3年にわたって、中国に行ったことは大変有名な話ですけれども、この人物が15世紀における、日中の中国日本のですね、2つ股にかけた知識を持っていたことは言うまでもありません。しかし同時代の基本的な最も重要な知識は誰が作っていたかというと、足利将軍家のコレクションというものがまず基本になっていたというふうに考えることができます。その足利将軍のコレクションというものの基礎を作ったのは今お見せしている足利義満でございまして、この人はおそらく自分のコレクションを作るときに中国の基礎工程、ホイツォンのことを考えながら、そのコレクションを頭に置きながら作り上げたんだというふうに考えることができます。当然のことながらこの作品がそのコレクションの中でも非常に重要な作品だったと思われますけれども、ほとんどの作品、最も重要な作品というのは南宋時代の作品でした。でそれはそのまま古典として同時代の作品に利用され、これは木型の作品を利用した例ですし、こちらの方は馬焔の作品を利用した例ですけれども、このような形で古典として機能したということを確認することができます。でこういった感覚を雪舟はどうしたかというと継承していました。これは雪舟が描いた方向写冊なんですけれども、ファンクなんですけれども、この作品ではシャークイ、家系ですとかムーシー、馬焔といった人々の名前を挙げて、そして日本における古典というものを継承していることを明示しています。つまり彼は左の方の作品はこれは中国に行く前の作品なんですけれども、日本にある基礎的な知識というものを使ってこの方向図冊というものを書いたというふうに考えることができるわけです。比較の例として仙長、同時代の明時代の画家の作品と比較してみると、これもほぼ同時代に書かれた方向図冊なんですけれども、全く違う画家たちがその古典の対象になっている、ということが分かります。つまり中国と日本というようなものが状況が古典を選ぶときにですね、違うという認識はそれぞれ相互に持っていたということにもなっているわけです。で、雪舟自身がどういった人たちと中国でアクセスしたかというものを明示しているのは、この晩年に書いた破木山水図の序の部分に示されています。すなわち、中国では理財とあったというふうに彼は言ってるんですけれども、最新の研究ではというか私もそう思ってるんですけれども、彼は理財とは合ってないと思うんです。しかしともかく理財というものを非常に重視していることは確かなんです。明時代の宮廷画家です。で、日本には東京国立博物館にこんな作品が残っているんですけれども、遼寧省博物館にはこのような作品が残っています。上から南宋時代の画家の李丹、李東、真ん中が馬焔、馬焔、一番下が梁海、つまりそういった南宋時代の宮廷画家たちの画風というものをはっきりと古典として描き分ける力を持っていた人物が李在ということになります。で、こういった人を、の作品を学んだということは確かなのではないかと思うんですね。で、当時彼が訪問した宮廷の外院で活躍した方々たちがどんな方がいるかというと、こういう人たちがいました。こういった作品を書いていたわけですね。 で、彼自身が明の宮廷で、書いたというふうに考えられるのが、この四季山水図、東京国立博物館にある作品であるというふうに考えられています。で、もう一つ、雪舟は北京で活動した以外にもう一つ、寧波という土地で活躍していました。で、その寧波で直接交渉したと考えられる人物がこの金職陳氏という文人であります。で、この方は実は日本人にも多く会ってるんです。引退して寧波に戻ってからですね、日本人と会ってる記録というのを黄色にしました。しかしもう一つ、彼は韓国に来ています。そして、実際に国王と面会もしております。そういった記録が残っている。つまり彼自身の中に東アジアが体現されている人物というふうに考えることができます。非常に多くの人物たちと交渉していることが分かる人物なんです。で、実際に彼の家には雪舟の作品がかかっていました。つまり雪舟とおそらく直接会ったのではないかというふうに考えることができる人物で、と同時に彼はその収蔵また見た作品の中に文人画の非常に伝統的な文人画を見ていました。先生遅延集の三挙図、またこの五鎮の加賀八景図鑑といった作品は彼が題を書いていて、そして実際に接触したことが分かる作品です。このように見ていくと雪舟が金職の家等々で介してですね、文人画に接触した可能性も考えるべきなのではないでしょうか。で、実際にこの作品は日本人が寧波に持って行って、そして金職に、題跋を書いてもらった作品でございまして、そこでは明らかに家計、シャークイ、南宋時代の画家の名前を挙げています。つまりこの作品から見ると金職、陳氏という人は日本人が持って帰るときに4幅が絵画が入っていて、その中の1幅が山水画で、そして活気よりも素晴らしいという五種よりも素晴らしいというような評価を受けたという記録があります。つまり彼は一方で、これは陳氏金職が書いた作品ですけれども、こういった作品を書いていたわけです。で、それは韓国ではこういった作品から現時代の竹の描き方というものが非常に流布していたわけですけれども、最新の竹の描き方をソウルにもたらした人物だというふうに考えることができます。で、それと同時に、活気、母子のような作品を書いたということが分かるわけです。この部分に関してはすでにチャン・ジンソン先生が紹介になられた、朝鮮前期の山水画の状況を思い起こされればいいので、多くを説明しません。こういった作品が書かれていたわけですけれども、これらの作品を痛感してみるといくつかの古典があったということに気がつかされます。それは何かというと、この、画冊とこのうちの2図と大和文化館のこの2図というものは全く同じ構成を持っています。画面の大小にかかわらず、図様を習うという意識があったわけです。さらに、つい最近見つけたんですけれども、この下の方は、今年に入ってから見つけたものなんですけれども、この八景図にもやはりこういったこれはメトロポリタン美術館の作品ですが、こういったものとの関わりを指摘することができるわけです。つまりある一定の古典が少々八景図には成立しているというふうに考えることができます。で、その少々八景図が一体何を意識したのか ということを考える上で非常に重要なのが、こちらの資料ということになります。この安倍大君の周辺で書かれたこの八景図が引用されているのが、このパーティー、工場なのですけれども、ここには少々八景にそれぞれ沿うように、画家の名前が全部書いてあります。どういうふうに書いてあるかというと、こういうふうに書いてあります。つまり同じ時期に韓国の人たちが古典だと思っていたものは、五代から北宋にかけての北の方の画家たちを中心にした、そういった画家たちの名前が挙がっているということです。つまり韓国で、古典とされている、そして制作されていたもの、日本で制作されていたもの、中国で制作されていたもの、それぞれ、伝統というか系譜の意識があって、そして、そういったものを知った上で交流している。全く別々に存在していたのではなくて、お互いがお互いの状況を知った上でおそらく交流していたという、そういうような事情です。で、それが同時代の東アジアの意識というものを成立させていたというふうに考えることができるわけです。で、その上で、最近一点の作品が出てまいりました。左の方の作品なのですけれども、個人像として日本に現在所蔵されている作品でございます。この作品が出てきたときに、立ちどころに帽子、活気の装春図と非常に近いということを見て取ったわけです。で、先ほどチャン・ジソン先生がまさに毛利博物館の作品には北宋画の経験があったのだろうと、見た経験があったんだろうということをおっしゃっていましたが、こういった作品がさらにその考えを補強することは確かなのではないでしょうか。こういうふうにして見てみると、現時代のユエンタイのリーゴパイ、理学派よりもむしろ原本北宋の絵画に近い、そういった作品であるということが分かります。これが山の部分なんですけれども、でまたこれがちょうど円形を表す部分ですけれども、非常に濃淡の対比を巧みに描き分け、そして遠近表現が見事になされていることを確認することができます。これが人物の表現です。でまた、この部分を見ると朝鮮王朝前期の絵画であるというふうに思われるのではないでしょうか。松の表現とさらにこの建築の表現を見てみると、非常に、親近、近い表現というものを思い出すことができます。で、従来は例えばこのメトロポリタン美術館の閉鎖落眼図が例えばプリンストン美術館にある李光年の山水図に相似している等々のことが指摘されてきたわけですけれども、ここにより活気に近い作品というものを加えることができるのではないかと思う。この他に安行の伝承のある山水図三幅ですとか、こういった作品が続いていくような格好になるかと思うんですね。でこういった位置づけを与えることができる作品です。こういった作品も続いてくるわけです。つまり改めて朝鮮前期の作品を系譜づける上で非常に重要な作品が出てくる。そしてその時の感性としては、現時代の理学派よりもより近い北宋時代の原本を模写して、そして直接学ぶような態度というものが朝鮮前期にはあったんではないかというふうに考えることができます。実際にこの資料は皆さんもよくご存知かと思うんですけれども、高麗王朝においては夏季帽子の新作が持たされ、そしてそれが宮廷に収蔵されていたわけです。こういった作品というのが非常に重要な意味を持ったであろうことは 想像に難くありません。改めて金色が見た文献というものを読み直してみると、ここには従来なかった見え方が出てくるのではないかと思うんです。それはどういうことかというと、活気よりも素晴らしいというふうに考えている、この金色が外交事例ではなくて、おそらく今お見せしたような産水技術を見たときに、どういうふうに感じたかということであります。で、おそらく金色人種にとっては現代の理学派ユエンタイの理合派といったものが存在していて、それを通して、さらに、明時代、中盤、折半に吸収されていくその途上の姿を見ている。それと直接より原本に近い、朝鮮王朝前期に写された作品を合わせて見たときに、彼がより原本に近いという感想を持つことはおそらく自然なのではないでしょうか。つまり彼の目の前にあったことというものは決して外交上の外交事例の問題ではなくて、東アジアのそれぞれの古典意識のさまざまな様相というようなものを目の前で見て、そしてその上で、感想を述べたというふうに考えられるのではないかというふうに思います。つまり、こういうふうにして、もう一つミクロな視点、作品から始まる美術史にとって、作品がもたらす情報、刺激といったものは非常に大きな意味を持っていると思います。そして、その一つの作品が全体のコンテキストにも時として大きな影響を与える場合がある。そういったものを繰り返し取り込みながら、新たにまた東アジアの美術史の言説というものを組み立てていくことができるならば、また新たな可能性が見えるのではないかというふうに思います。以上です。
바로 또 두 번째 발표를 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 두 번째 발표는 미국의 동아시아의 미술사, 그 제목으로 국가 이후의 미술사라고 하는 제목으로 미시건 대학에 계시는 케비 선생님께서 발표해 주시기 부탁드립니다.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming today, and I'm very grateful to Professor Jong Woo-taek for inviting me to come here. It's really a great pleasure to be able to speak to you in such a knowledgeable and interesting group of people. And I want to thank the students and staff of Douglas University as well for hosting us, as well as the sponsors. So I wanted to start by basically saying that I'm distinctly unqualified to speak with authority about the historiography of the state of the field of even my own subspecialty of medieval Japanese Buddhist art, let alone Asian art, East Asian art in general. Nonetheless, today I'm going to offer some of my small contribution to these fascinating papers we've heard already and we're going to hear later. And in this talk, I will consider the past, the present, and the future of East Asian studies in light of English language scholarship. Although I'll briefly touch on art historical scholarship in Canada and the United Kingdoms, my primary focus will be on the field as it developed in the United States. And since some of my eminent predecessors have already provided institutional and historiographical overviews of East Asian art outside of the United States, in the United States, prior to the 1980s, the past I'll discuss is really limited to a short era between the 1970s and maybe the early 2000s. In a boldly self-serving way, I define the term present primarily as scholarship produced in the early 20th century, which is when I've been most active as a scholar myself. And finally, in lieu of having true precognition, I tried to turn to my younger colleagues and my own preconceptions to speculate on the future of the study of East Asian art in North America. At the end of my talk, I'll offer a few thoughts on the possible directions of the field might take in the coming years. So, especially given the conclusion I reach, I should also apologize here in advance for de-emphasizing the museum world. The interaction between scholars in the academy and scholars in the museum is a very crucial one. And in fact, many of the East Asian art historians prominent in academia in the 1980s had substantial museum experience or were curators themselves. Furthermore, exhibitions and their scholarly catalogs were and continue to be one of the most important avenues for communicating scholarly insights to a wider public audience. However, given limitations of time today, I'll generally confine my comments to academics who are teaching graduate students in the conventional academic settings. I hope that those of you who are curators, especially Jason and everyone else, will have kindly agreed to be my discussion here. I hope you'll correct me when my general statements go astray. So further, I'd like to reiterate that I'm a rather narrow specialist in Japanese art at a large public university. So accordingly, my understanding of other subfields of East Asian art and other institutions is limited. So I welcome any comments from the audience, and I look forward to considering these issues with you in our discussions. So today I'd like to focus on the 1980s and 90s as representative of a previous generation of scholarship at a crucial time in the history of East Asian art history in the United States. The art historians who were most active publishing and presenting during the time were senior scholars in my generation, and I had the honor of working with many of them in my graduate work. Wen Fong, Robert Bagley, and even James Cahill taught at Princeton while I was there. Yoshiaki Shimizu was my main advisor, and Miriam Pusan was on the dissertation committee. And many of my classmates from the time now hold prominent positions in Asian art, including posts at Harvard, Duke, Princeton, Berkeley, Cleveland Museum of Art, and Seattle Museum of Art. Though the situation constitutes my biased view on the field, the spread of that group suggests that the context in which they were trained was indicative of a dominant form of the scholarly mode at the time. So at the same time, there were quite a few active graduate programs with more than one person teaching Asian art. Just to name a few, Miyoko Murase was a formal presence at Columbia. Don McCallum and Lothar von Falkenhausen led the UCLA students. Kansas had Marcia Weiner and Amy McNair. Richard Vinograd and Linda Takeuchi were at Stanford. And Niels Richard Barnhart and Mimi Ekpesuan oversaw a diverse cohort of students in both modern and pre-modern art there. By the time I entered graduate school around 1996, John Rosenfield had retired, but Harvard was, Sherry Wendelkin was holding the fort at Harvard. So given this audience, I probably don't need to point it out, but we should observe that Korean art was simply not taught at the graduate level by any specialists until Berglin Jungmann, having completed her second degree at Seoul National University, came to UCLA in 1999. Those enterprising scholars who wanted to write dissertations on Korea in the United States Academy usually had to do so under a sinologist, often facing significant resistance from senior scholars in both America and abroad. Nonetheless, on the surface, East Asian art was still a robust and active subfield of art history. To be sure, things had become better for specialists since the early years of the field in the United States, but scholars still faced prodigious challenges that were deeply divided over many issues. For example, the University of Michigan has seen many great scholars of Asian art, including Calvin French, Richard Edwards, and his successor Martin Powers, yet none of them received tenure at that institution. In 2001, soon after Jonathan Reynolds, a specialist in Meiji architecture who had studied with Linda Takeuchi at Stanford, he was denied tenure. And the first page of New Yang Pruxon's widely read State of the Field article from 2001 in Art Bulletin criticized the university in thinly veiled terms. I quote, "A senior historian of Chinese art publicly scolds his counterparts in Japanese art for not being proactive in granting tenure to their junior ranks and destroying the field, only to have his own department deny tenure to the deserving young scholar of Japanese art." The fissures evident even in this short passage are many between competing programs and scholars within the United States, between Japanese and Chinese art, and between historians of East Asian art and Western art. Now, prominent scholars of Asian art in that period had only recently begun to fully emerge from being relegated to a second-class citizenship by many scholars. In art history departments in the United States, Asianists were tolerated or even welcomed, yet there are few serious efforts to integrate their insights into mainstream scholarship. Many great people were denied tenure, largely, I would argue, because of a lack of understanding and interest on the part of their colleagues who were studying Euro-American art. Nevertheless, one could trace two more positive trends during the 1980s. First, more and more departments in the United States hired one or more Asianists, and graduate students in East Asian art became quite numerous. Although this is still a kind of separate but equal system, it provided spaces for East Asian art history to grow within academia. Second, certain eminent scholars of Euro-American art, James Elkins and Norman Royce come to mind, started to feature Asian art, especially Chinese and Japanese painting, in their work. At the same time, scholars such as Mimir Kusuan and Wu Hong became regular fixtures at conferences that were not exclusively about East Asia. Thus, this period saw a kind of scholarly integration, but the gain was tempered by a brand of tokenism and a conceptual colonization of the Asian other as a merely predetermined test of the universal validity of Eurocentric art historical theory. These forces and many towering egos created a very dynamic but fragmented community of East Asianists at the time, but much of their work was largely ignored by other art historians. We should recall that from approximately the 1970s to the early 90s, theory, as an end itself, was treated as a distinct subfield within art history in the United States. Many departments hired a theory person, often someone who specialized in gender, semiotics, post-structuralism, Marxism, or any number of bodies of scholarship collectively known as New Art History. Departments were often starkly divided between so-called connoisseurs, who were disparaged as being elitist positivists, mired in details of style, versus theorists, whose opponents dismissed them as mere sophists with nothing of substance in their work. Predictably, Asianists were almost always aligned with the former camp based on the implicit assumption that Asian art was narrowly empirical and distinctly devoid of theoretical reflection. The categorization was not merely a function of bias, for though a few scholars of East Asian art made significant contributions to ideas of themic and etic theory, most of the field was deeply involved in the very basic work of defining the corpus and analyzing the major works. Korean art especially had a few specialists of the time, and it seems to have made little impression on the historical scholarship beyond East Asia. At the time, the connoisseurial tendency in East Asian art was often seen as an index of the backwardness of the subfield. Yet now, as a divide between theory, more often now called methodology today, and connoisseurship, partially rebranded under the rubric of a return to materiality, has become less prominent and divisive. East Asian art history has shown its profound strength in remaining keeping a focus on materials, styles, and historical and cultural specificity, all the while remaining attentive to the theoretical implications of these studies. In the 1970s and 80s, many scholars writing in English in the field were only beginning to emerge from the shadows of their counterparts in Asia, especially Japan, where positivistic scholarship, scholarship dominated methods, terms, and subjects of the field. The incredibly rich scholarship on Asian art by natives to those regions was a part of function of the cultural politics and upheavals experienced by these nations as they developed in the 19th and 20th centuries. Especially in the Japanese field, scholars writing in English since the 1960s have sought to carve out, 1980s, have sought to carve out a distinct identity that pursues questions and projects that are not merely derivative of Japanese research. Ironically, recent decades have witnessed the opposite trend within Korean and Chinese art, in which the native scholar has taken on an increasingly prominent role. Thanks to higher linguistic standards, shift in East Asian scholarship, and more interest in substantive scholarly exchange, all of these groups seem to be converging and are increasingly enjoying a very fruitful exchange on all levels. This conference is a prime example of the possibilities presented by a truly international study of art history. So I think we can make one last point concerning the earlier era of East Asian art history's past. The period leading up to the first decade of the 21st century saw the beginning of the serious study of modern contemporary East Asian art. Established scholars such as Wu Hong and Mimir Kusuan published studies and trained graduate students in modern and contemporary art, while dedicated Asian modernists also emerged who constituted a distinct field that sought for recognition from both Asianists and Western modernists. This turn towards the modern has also been driven by an international art market, which in the last 2 decades has paid close attention to East Asian artists of the 20th and 21st centuries. Now several programs, including Maryland, Michigan, Kansas, and OSU have, at least for now, 2 specialists in modern Asian art, which I think is a really extraordinary shift. Yet despite these gains, from at least the 1990s, specialists of older periods of art have expressed reservations about the tendency of younger scholars to be drawn to the early modern and modern, in this case primarily the 19th and early 20th century. This anxiety has only increased as Asianists emerge who specialize in later 20th and 21st century art. The resistance came not only from pre-modernists concerned about the future of their subfields, but also from modernists in Euro-American art, who even today are wrestling with the question of how the previously hegemonic scholarly narratives and facile categories of East and West have been troubled and challenged by the much more global art history. Both of these factors implicitly worry that modern East Asian art loses its Asianness as it becomes increasingly admixed with Euro-American art. It's ironic that up through the 1990s, most of the teachers in graduate programs of pre-modern Asian art have been trained by Europeanists, while most of the Asian modernists have been trained by pre-modernists. Who is to train and judge these new specialists? Many younger scholars, for example, Joan Key at the University of Michigan, were trained by Asianists, but identify themselves not as Asianists, but as modernists or global modernists. Modern East Asian art is a rather robust subfield, with at least 2 PhD students at Harvard, Chicago, Duke, Toronto, Kansas, UC Irvine, and many programs in Europe, including SOAS, Oxford, Goldsmiths, the Courtauld, and Heidelberg. It remains to be seen whether the new generation of scholars will ultimately find their academic home, but it's clear that modern contemporary East Asian art studies have come to stay in the United States. Thus, despite regrettable narrowness, parochialism, and infighting at times, the 1980s and 90s was a time of great possibility when scholars of East Asian art finally realized their independence from historians of Euro-American art and East Asian historians of Asian art. It was a time that called for a deep engagement with foundational work of East Asian art historians while engaging radical expansion of the often ideologically inflected, in this case China and Korea primarily, or nearly positivistic or sectarian scholarship. This set the stage for deeper engagement between the groups that many scholars enjoy today. In the 1980s through the early 2000s, saw the publication of key textbooks of East Asian art that are still used in classrooms, and many of the exhibitions from that time remain definitive words on the subjects they cover. Thus, today's scholars often choose topics that benefit from the broad base provided by previous Asian and Euro-American scholarship, allowing them to explore larger issues of interest to scholars across the humanities. Asian art historians of the latter half of the 20th century took advantage of the collapse of the canon of art history, a general multicultural term in American society, and shifting student interest to craft a field that is both stable and robust. East Asianists active today are direct beneficiaries of the scholarly and cultural gains of the great scholars of the past. Now, to turn more to present things, and perhaps the future, the early 20th century has seen seismic shifts in the field of art history, especially in East Asian art. Art history in general has become much less narrowly focused on Euro-American material. Interdisciplinarity and the so-called social history of art has become commonplace, and the theoretical imperative and polarization felt by earlier scholars has notably softened. Added to this, many of the towering figures of the previous generation of East Asian art have either retired or passed away, making way for a vibrant new generation of younger scholars who feel more at home engaging with their colleagues in and outside the field, both Asianists and specialists focused on other regions. Now, the collapse of Japan's bubble economy in the 1990s and the concomitant rise of China as a new apparent world economic superpower has significantly altered the cultural politics of East Asia. For example, while Japanese contemporary art occupied a particularly prominent position in the art market in the 1990s, recent products of Chinese and those of other Asian countries seem to have supplanted it. The recession in Japan means that there's less financial support for the study and publication of Japanese art than there was up through the 1990s. However, Chinese cultural pride, sometimes veering into kind of cultural jingoism, and the support of various foundations such as Confucius Institute throughout the United States, have helped to fund a robust and growing scholarly production. Now, approximately during the same period, Korean art finally began to claim a place in East Asian studies. In part because of major investments from the Korean Foundation and other organizations, as well as donations from Korean and Korean Americans, Many museums in the United States have begun to build up collections of Korean art and curators who can present it effectively. Even so, I think English language academia is still catching up with these developments. Institutions offering doctoral level training in Korean art remains a comparatively tiny minority. In the pre-modern field, SOAS and UCLA are, to my knowledge, the only options for studying pre-modern Korean art at the graduate level. And with Berkman Newman's imminent retirement, the prospects of specialist training in the field are likely to remain exceedingly limited. In the United States, modern Korean art is represented at several museums and undergraduate institutions, yet graduate level training is offered only by UCLA and the University of Michigan. When I consider the present job market, I look to my students with no small amount of anxiety. There are rarely more than a few major positions in East Asian art advertised in any given year, and the mobility that characterized academia up to the 1990s seems to have stalled, along with the economic downturn in the United States, and changing cultural politics there too. It appears that, except for a very limited number of new curatorial and academic positions in pre-modern Korean and Chinese art, the only significant growth of the job market in East Asian art is going to be limited to non-Western global modern positions, in which Asianists compete with scholars in the arts of Africa, Islam, Latin America, and other regions. Nevertheless, recent and upcoming retirements suggest there's still some possibility of a certain number of positions opening up for the new generation. Now, the world of publishing is perhaps even bleaker than the job market. Journals of East Asian art continue to be published regularly, but like nearly all academic periodicals, they're struggling to find support and sustainable funding models. While historians of modern and contemporary East Asian art have more options, there are exceedingly few remaining venues for publishing book-length studies in pre-modern Asian art. For those hoping to publish a well-illustrated study in English on pre-modern East Asian art, the only active presses are Hawaii, Washington, and Peru. This is especially acute for the younger generation, since tenure and promotion at most research institutions rest heavily on the single-author scholarly monograph. So the challenges with which East Asianists wrestle today are exacerbated by art history's unresolved and increasingly deep crisis of identity and direction. In the last several decades, the field has lost a great deal of cultural capital that sustained it in the previous generations. At most institutions, gone are the days of immense surveys of Western art and crowded courses on the once unassailable topics such as Renaissance, Impressionism, or 20th century modernism. Museums have generally fared better, though they too face significant drops in financial support and attendance at exhibitions. As art history is increasingly questioned, if addressed at all, and the popularity of the non-canonical and non-Western art increases, East Asian art history has an opportunity to claim a central place in the new curriculum of more socially engaged, internationally oriented, skill-based humanities. So to turn explicitly towards the future. So if the present generation of scholars is any indication, the future holds great promise for East Asian art history in the United States. Not only can we enjoy an assured place in museums and art history departments, we can also take a leading role in art history in an even larger historical project. I see two main ways that the current academic establishment, as well as the rising generation, can begin to do this. First, we can renew our commitment to interdisciplinarity. And two, we can break down the nation-based frame that continues to structure most of our fields. One might say that after many decades of interdisciplinarity, the term has become a commonplace shibboleth, something that you hear and doesn't mean anything, as to become almost meaningless unto itself. However, I think we would greatly benefit by reconsidering what the term might mean today. If the previous generation achieved a certain autonomy and independence from dominant narratives in art history, perhaps it's the task of the next generation to explore our interdependence with our colleagues inside and outside the field, shaping a new art history in this post-modern world requires making amends with our so-called estranged sister disciplines. These include visual anthropology, textual history, archaeology, calligraphy history, museum studies, studio practice, and the work of our colleagues across the pre-modern and modern divide. These various groups tend not to talk to each other very much, but I think that East Asianists, given the topics and temperament of many of them and the increasing prominence in art history departments, were particularly well suited to doing this. The corpus, questions, methods, and theories that these subfields hold great promise for invigorating art history, especially East Asian art history, and I think our field can do the same for the others. We might begin to see that our current scholarly silos do not serve our collective interests in innovative and historically accurate research into East Asian art. Will some of these disciplinary divides come to appear rather trivial for the open-minded scholars of the next generation? I hope so. In the coming years, we will come to find that some of the most insightful studies of visual arts come from our colleagues in fields that aren't art history, and that visual studies becomes an academic project that inspires the humanities as a whole. Now, scholars of East Asian art in the United States are clear beneficiaries of the breakdown of the canon and the openness of the field towards art making as a global phenomenon. Yet, it's not an unalloyed positive. The entente cordiale between Euro-American and Asian art has helped the field to establish roots and grow, but it also runs the risk of ghettoizing East Asian art, since members are welcomed to the artistical table only as tokens representative of a tolerated other, still defined in terms of nation. Considering the geopolitical climate, to a certain extent, scholars of East Asian art would be prudent to take advantage of cultural soft power competition, leveraging nationalism to produce scholarship that is not necessarily bound by the same ideology. However, this too is a dangerous and difficult scholarly game to play. It's high time that art history presents a model for the world that primarily pointedly moves away from its roots in studies shaped by modern nation-state identities towards scholarship that recognizes the complex networks of cultural production and dissemination that were the historical reality throughout the region. Scholars of certain physically and conceptually fluid regions of the East Asian cultural ambit seem to me to be particularly well positioned to lead the movement. Central Asia, Southeast Asia, especially Vietnam, as sort of an extended East Asia, the Korean Peninsula, and China comprise many intersecting complex cultural spheres. Citizens of a modern nation should be very proud of their forebears who occupied spaces and moments that mixed elements from many different cultural spheres. Citizens of, cultural streams, I'm sorry. No art tradition is ever pure, and modern geopolitical boundaries are often utterly irrelevant to other historical eras. As has clearly happened in the field of global modern and contemporary art, pre-modern art historians would do well to not limit themselves to narrow nation-based frames for their research. East Asia is ripe with examples of spaces of dynamic cultural exchange, the nuanced study of which could present a new vision of what art history and the humanities in general could be. So these calls for a truly interdisciplinary and transnational art history pose significant challenges for us both as researchers and as educators. Already, many professors at graduate schools of East Asian art feel a tension between training students in specific skills and knowledge based on their subfield, and the imperative to rise to the challenge to imagine art history that transcends national and disciplinary boundaries. For most of us, the ideal is not only is only achievable by relying on cooperation between specialists who are fully grounded in their historical material, yet practicing communicating with scholars in other subfields and academic disciplines. Now this includes East Asianists talking to their colleagues based in other countries, as we're doing here, to specialists in other art historical traditions, and to scholars far beyond the confines of the field as it's narrowly conceived. What can art historians do that other historians of, say, religious, institutional history, etc., not do as well? What can we do even better collectively and collaboratively when engaging with our colleagues in diverse fields across the scholarly world? And what can art historians based in the academic culture of, say, North America do that other scholars in East Asia cannot or do not do? So events such as this conference provide an invaluable opportunity for collaborations that can start to answer that question and shape a vision of East Asian art history that inspires scholars across the world. I thank you very much for your patience, and I look forward to your comments and questions.
미국에서 동아시아 미술사 연구에 있어서 지금까지 진행되어 온 그리고 진행되고 있는 그리고 향후의 전망까지 여러 가지 제시를 해주셨습니다. 단지 이것은 미국에서만의 문제가 아니라 우리나라에서도 똑같은 문제가 대두되고 있는 것이 아닌 것 같습니다. 좋은 발표 고맙습니다. 지금 오후에 마지막 발표를 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 오후의 세 번째 발표는 베를린 자유대학에 계시는 이정희 선생님께서 독일의 동아시아 미술사 연구와 현황 부제목으로 트랜스미디어와 트랜스컬처적 담론이라고 하는 제목으로 발표를 해주시겠습니다. 부탁드립니다.
First of all, I would like to thank Professor Jung Wook-taek and Ms. Park Jung-won for your invitation and organization. And it is really a great honor to talk about the current research project in the German language regions. Research on East Asian art history in Germany or in German language regions in Europe has been active and successful for about 10 years, like never before. The current research projects we have in German language areas presenting trends predominantly within the field of East Asian art history are concerned with transculturality and transmediality, with a transregional focus on the whole of Asia as well as on Africa and Europe. I'm sorry. On the successful briefs on historical context and current constellations, and the project Sacred Fashion, Textiles as Communication Tool in East Central Asia. At the University of Zurich, we have also Chinese Cultures on Display, a cooperative study on Chinese and European Oriental art museums and their narratives on the origin of Chinese civilization. At the University of Vienna, they have also the very nice project, CIDRIS, and Center for Interdisciplinary Research and Documentation of Inner and South Asian Cultural History. And at the Max Planck Institute, they have also a nice project, Art Histories and Aesthetic Practices, a research and fellowship program initiated by the Institute of Art History in Florence and a Forum of Transregional Studies in Berlin. The application of the term transculture has also produced many fashionable studies in Europe, such as global art histories on interconnected world art history, and so on. As a result, most of these already mentioned institutions now offer curricula of art histories in global and transcultural context. Referring to my own 3 research topics as an example, I will try to define in which way the theoretical and methodological approaches can be understood in terms of transculturality and transmediality, and how we apply these in practical analysis. The case study 1, the transculturality in terms of transmedia practice from painting to photography in the age of modernity. Case study 2, transcultural processes of translation, appropriation, and new interpretation, as well as visual understandings as an example of Buddhist art. Case study 3, At the limits of transcultural theoretical applications, we utilize of the eye of parallel seeing. The case study 1. The first case study investigates in which way the transformed reception in culturality intertwined processes can be demonstrated as a historically grown repertoire of artistic choice and practices. For in this continuous process of cultural interlacing, art is always shaped by individual perception of economic factors, power politics, ethnicity, and religion. Therefore, we should consider artistic objects as media of individual reflection that are influenced by external forces. The term transmediality deals with the implementation of certain aesthetics as a certain type of discourse from a pre-image, pretext, preconcept into other media as a hybrid phenomenon. Based on this theoretical background, case study 1 explores, as an example, will show how the reception of Dutch and Flemish and Japanese paintings and photographs have influenced the world of Jang Hae-chang, Korean photographer Jang Hae-chang's photography in the 1930s, and in what way the European art tradition is translated on a visual aesthetical level via Japan to Korea. A specific focus of Turk will be laid on the most interesting 3 still life images of Jang Hae-chang from the 4 exhibitions in the 1930s, which reveal his unique process of the transfer from the Vanitas Dutch paintings. As demonstrated by the Dutch Golden Age painters Michiel van Boucher, here on the left, and Hendrik Gerrit Put, here on the right, with a painter with his studio. But still life painters have arranged their items on the table, and the depicted items represented themselves just like self-portrait. Jang Hae-chang mimics the Dutch painters and assembled his items for his images. All the works show the heavy curtain drapes in the background. The same objects are repeated in different combinations. For example, we can see the same figures of a young standing Korean man and a Korean carrier appear 2 times in the first and second images. An identical glass lamp and the cigarette pipe are shown also 2 times in the second and third pictures. The different books are focused on from varying angles and places. All objects are illuminated from one side, just like in the Dutch paintings, namely from the left side. The human skull, the most representative vanitas motif of the past and passing away, has not been abandoned in Jang's photography, but other items such as the burning candlelight, lamps, manuscript, books, and figures are replaced by the tangible object from his own environment, such as glass lamp and the Korean figures. Here, it is very interesting to ask why he has taken this vanitas theme. Do the young Korean man or the other figures carry their own special meaning? In this first image, the young Korean man stands on the high stage before the stairs. It seems that the artist built the stairs with the paperboards especially for this scene. And in front of the stair, there stands a monk figure. The shadow and the unclear appearance of the monk figure's shape stress the illusion of moving toward the stairs. Between the monk and the stairs, the carrier is instead by way the photo montage as a figure floating across the sea. Vision is different from the Japanese Vanitas photographies so far known to me, the skull made by Nakamura Kenji in 1934 and the cover image of Nihon Shashin Nenkan made in 1938 also show the Vanitas theme in different ways. It is said that during his Tokyo studio period, 1922 to 27, he was very interested in European painting. So we can only speculate that Jung Chang saw the popular Dutch paintings during his stay in Japan. The Jung's Vanitas photographies show the new ways of using the foreign medium itself as a tool of artistic expression in Korea. And they represent his emotional perception of power politics in face of colonialism, in which the mechanism of resistance, alienation, and affection come into play accordingly. Now, case study 2. In this case study, the term transculturality can be understood as a concept of translation process of various cultural elements into other cultural languages. The study investigates how the discursive transfer process changes and sometimes also misunderstands the meaning and visual item of this country of one, which can happen if the artworks in the course of their transmission and perception adhere too strongly to their fixed iconographies. Based on the depiction of folds seen on the Buddhist sculptures, I will try to examine of what way transfer process of Gupta-style Buddha are apparent on a visual aesthetical level. Firstly, we have to define briefly the visual item of country of origin, namely the Gupta style. Extant research has been so far summarized the visual stylistic features of the representation of folds in the monk loaf Samgati, ranging from the Mathura and Sanat school of Gupta period as follows. In the content of stylistic elements from the early Gandhara and Mathura period, the depictions of Buddha figures of Gupta period show a less naturalistic, reduced, and even surface, which transcends the robe's physicality. Each volume and lines through wet-looking transparent robes. Further, on this robe, the looks wet or transparent and clings to the body. Thin lines of running waves are depicted. Very regularly, they run in parallel lines, and these hanging folds make the figure appear soft and elegant. An extant research have so far mentioned the Gupta Buddha figures are transferred via various routes of the Silk Road. On the one hand, the images are transferred via the regions of North Pakistan, Afghanistan, along both the southern and northern sides of Tarim Basin into China. On the other hand, it is generally believed that the Gupta Buddha images are transmitted via the southern maritime and land Silk Road. For this reason, I will take the some Buddha figures from these stations of birth, these routes to analyze in detail which style items were selected and appropriated by the Chinese. At first, a sandstone torso Buddha excavated at the former temple site 142 of the Southern Dynasty's 6th century offers us a wonderful example of the tradition of Gupta province. The regularly repeated running folds of the robe depicted in a very plain, reduced manner, and also in terms of even surface, which transcends the robe's physicality, its volume. The Qingzhou area, it is really one of the places of transcultural intertwinement. Many Buddha images of Northern Qi dynasty excavated in 1996 from the former temple Longxing Shi, Qingzhou, and other Buddhist images in each style also show new features of rock folds, which seems to run in two downwards flowing wave lines along every leg. We cannot find this style in the Gupta period. For me, this is new interpretation of Gupta or post-Gupta, or we could say this post-Gupta style in China. Where is this post-Gupta style from? Some of scholars have argued that the maritime routes transmitted the images, but we cannot trace the process of each transfer. There are also opinions that lava stupa influenced this forged depiction. When we look at the photos of the ruins of lava stupa, which unfortunately are no longer preserved today, but were published in 1907 by Orstein. Between the legs, we can see the form of U-shaped folds, but the folds on the legs run more perpendicularly to the seen bone, and these remind us of the intertwined early Buddha images of Swat Valley in Pakistan and Bamiyan of Afghanistan. In my opinion, the development of the Gupta to double U-shape of Qingzhou style might be viewed as a transfer process via the continental Silk Road as follows. If viewed this way, then the round folds on the legs were already developed in the 1st century in Central Asia. As we can see on the Buddha image of votive tablet from Kizil and its development reaching into the 6th and 7th century, namely on the dynamic folds seen on the terracotta fragment from Gocho, K Philosophy B, first now in the National Museum for Asian Art at Berlin. The fragment of Buddha image from Kizil and the Betcliff golden terracotta figure of the 6th century from the S.F. Oldenburg's first Russian Turkestan expedition revealed the intertwining element of transcultural praxis. The combined physical volume of legs and knees and the vertical and U-shaped lines, which indicates the significance of Gupta Rawat style, and the wave lines on the birth shin bones, which indicate a Central Asian feature. Now we move along the Silk Road from the Tarim Basin to the northwestern region of China. The Chinese appropriation of elements of Gupta Rawat style intertwined with elements of Tarim Basin style is clearly visible in the depiction of folds of the figure in the temple building itself, dated circa 420 AD, late Western Qin. And in the famous wonderful Maitreya Buddha statue of the Northern Wei period. The presentation of folds differ. They are depicted in a manneristic style. As we know, already during the Chinese Northern dynasties, the emphasis on the physicality of Buddha images gives way from an emphasis on the materiality of textile. This is one particular characteristic of Chinese garment presentation in comparison with Indian and East Central Asian images. In the Chinese context, the contour and volume of shin bone are no longer visible. We can see in two images of limestone Buddha of Northern Zhou and the Tang marble Buddha, and the discrete dynamic holds fall outward and downward. The materiality of Buddha garment gains much more important meaning than the representation of physicality. Now, to be examined in particular is how the formulation of elements of post-Gupta in China was spread via the interregional East Asian transfer routes to Korea and Japan, and what the consequence were. Thereby, the appropriation of same schematic feature of folds and fold lines on the abdomen and legs area is analyzed more preciously. The granite Buddha of Silla, dated 719, Temple Gamsansa Gyeongju, and famous Udayana Buddha from Seiryoji, Kyoto, have a commonality. In spite of their different materials and production period, the depiction of leg folds is in the style of Chinese post-Gupta style. The folds of garments are shown in the 3U pattern style on the breast and two legs. The Japanese Buddha of Kamakura period should be represented also in the tradition of Udayana Buddhas from Seiryoji, but the three U-shaped folds are depicted independently in the standing leg posture, just like witchcraft curtain. The tradition line was more important than the naturalistic representation. Now, finally, the case study 3. At the limit of the theoretical applications concerning transcultural intertwinement and transfer, we have to develop a new method that we could call the eye of parallel seeing. How can the term parallel seeing be understood? Parallel seeing means the methodology of a comparative approach in which visual work immanent aesthetics are the main issue of research on diachronic and synchronic levels. This is an old anthropological art historical method belonging to the interdisciplinary fields of history and cultural studies. As a good example for this case study, I can introduce my study on meander ornaments along the Silk Road. As you already know, an ornament meander, Greek meandros, is a continuous line or border constructed from a repeated motif of an angular spiral band or at right or left angles, producing patterns running in different directions. The expansion and the extension of the meander decors may not always be horizontal, as has been so far assumed, but diagonal and vertical, running in all directions and filling out the fields of the object. It has generally been understood as an ancient Greek ornament, therefore it is named after the waning river Meandros in present-day southwestern Turkey. To find out whether there could be any transfer process, I'll place these ornaments within a broader and more precise genealogical scope. And for the genealogical investigation, I will pursue an analysis of ornaments ranging from the younger examples back to the older ones, therein following two different directions to west and east in a diachronic comparative approach. Firstly, we have the motif type of meander with a swastika carrying the symbolic meaning of infinity and unity. It is depicted in many Buddhist statues and ritual objects, for example in the Song period, Luohan statues and the Mongolian burner. These meander swastika variations developed in different cultures and periods. Indian culture around 500 AD. It was also used in combination with various plant leaves, flowers, and geometrical variations in the middle or in between. We can find also in the geometrical mosaics of Roman villas in Spain, which is emphasized doubly in combination with the symbolic of eternity, and sarcophagus fragments from the Roman necropolis stadium in Croatia. The meander pattern with the swastika on the side seems to have been transmitted from the ancient Greek culture along the Silk Road into China, which appears on architecture and ceramics of the Mediterranean and Black Sea cultures of ancient Greece prior to the 5th century BC, and sometimes it is combined with the Egyptian key motif of eternity. Secondly, we can have the hook-like meander ornament. We can see this type on the pair of wood trudgers dating back to 800 BC, which was excavated in Yanhai near Tuofan and regarded as the world's oldest one. The excavated places and their findings show no visible or recorded Chinese or Greek influences of that time, and the trudgers were worn by a so-called Eurasian man. Independently of these, we can see the same meander pattern on the Bronze of Zhou period and even earlier on the marble figure fragments from tomb number 1004 in Xipeigang. Thirdly, we have the motif type of the classical meander. The shape of meander in Assyrian cultures and the ancient Greek meanders of the 5th century BC are also extremely similar to the meander of the Shang bronze. The old Chinese meander pattern, Lei Wan, is depicted on earthware of Majayao culture in China. However, the classical meander type originated neither from ancient Greece nor from China. It dates back to Paleolithic cultures. Comparing the ancient Greek meander with the meander of Paleolithic ivory statues from Metin in Ukraine, dated 18,000 BC, therefore lie more than 15,000 years in between. And yet, one has the feeling that the decor was created by the same workshops. We can only speculate on whether this type of ancient meander pattern was transmitted from Ukraine, bearing the oldest trace of this pattern, via verifiable ancient routes to almost all regions of the Black Sea, Mediterranean area, Central and East Asia. It is also possible that, just like the phenomenon of swastika motif, human beings create the same signs everywhere, such that these patterns are discoverable in different figures and cultures, and the similarities seem too close. What we can say is that the meander ornament was enriched by multiple layered cultural associations and intercontinental tastes of a globalized early ancient modern world. The pattern is timeless and universal, and it has the same basic feature independent of regions, cultures, and dating times. And each various carriers, materials, and depicted techniques. It functions as a universal communication tool of humanity. It creates passions, and at the same time, it is timeless. Now, I will conclude briefly my talk. What could we understand the terms transculturality and transmediality? In current research practices, some scholars make the term quite confused. or some do not want to deal with it at all because of its complexity. But we could not escape these current research issues. As we know, art history is no longer a fine depiction of the object, but a science for itself with its theoretical and methodological approaches. And the German colleagues go on with great enthusiasm, as we have always done. The aim of this talk is to define the terms and its praxis in more simple way. I could say the term transculturality can be understood as a phenomenon or concept of meta and basic theory of cultural history or art history in global context. Under the terms transmediality and translation, I understand the approaching methods which are used to explain the development of processes and trace of transcultural phenomena. By using these methods, we should find out who translates, actors of transculturalizing, and what object of transculture, where translational analysis, when in global and historical context. In which way or how transcultural practice, and why anthropological analysis in transcultural and global context. The parallel theme is also one of the comparative approaching methods for anthropological culture studies on almost visual aesthetical level. Thank you so much for your attention.
예, 감사합니다. 예, 미술사의 연구 현황과 그 연구 방법론에 대해서 세 가지 신뢰를 들어 설명을 해주셔서 아주 이해하기가 쉬웠습니다. 고맙습니다. 그럼 이것으로 그 오후 세 번째 발표까지 모두 다 마치도록 하겠습니다.